Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy a Doctor Who Commander deck? Wizards of the Coast's universes beyond push knows no limits, as it travels through all of time and space grabbing new IPs to bring into Magic the Gathering. This time creating 4 original Commander decks around the British classic sci-fi series Doctor Who. Keep in mind that Doctor Who is a beloved television show that has been on the air for 60 years, whereas Magic the Gathering, that's only been around about 30 years. Can 4 Commander decks really do justice to such a complex and beloved property? And even if flavor is on point, just how good are these decks? Are they balanced for playing against one another? Do they have designs that Magic players are going to want to build around or include in their existing decks? Most of all, are you getting your money's worth, and just how much of your money is even being asked for this product? All these questions and more are what's in store, so don't touch that dial. Do you kids even know what a dial is anymore? Everything's so swipey these days. Well, don't swipe away because I have a lot to say. But first oh my goodness, I need a shave, don't I? I just hate shaving. You know what it's like? It's pure terror, razor bumps, nicked skin, ingrown hairs. All right, so maybe it's not as terrifying as the scariest movie ever made, Gremlins 2: The New Batch, but it's still pretty scary. And if you're a person who shaves regularly, those things can seem impossible to avoid. 7 blades, a dozen roller balls, it doesn't matter. Maybe instead the answer is something old school, like me, with a little aerospace engineering thrown in, like me. Henson's razors are precisely built to very tight specifications. I mean, they only let the blade extend 0.0013 inches outside of the guard. That's literally thinner than the hair it's cutting. And if a razor doesn't meet those standards, they melt it down and fire it into the sun. What? They don't actually fire it into the sun? Well, they should. All right, well, even if they don't do that, it's still pretty cool because Henson's razors are also made with sustainability in mind. While other razors, especially razor subscriptions, use mountains of unrecyclable plastic, Henson's AL13 contains no plastic, and neither does their packaging. It uses standard double-edged blades that can be recycled, and the razor itself is made to last decades, meaning it will likely be the last one you ever have to buy. Follow my link in this video's description and use code Tellarian to get 100 free blades with the purchase of a razor. Henson's razors are fantastic, so if you're ready for the meticulously engineered shave you've been dreaming of, follow the link in this video's description and order your Henson razor today. Thank you, Henson Razors, for sponsoring this video. A Doctor Who Commander deck includes the following: 1 100-card playable out-of-the-box Commander deck, complete with 2 premium foil cards, and 50 brand new card designs, 10 brand new plain chase cards, as well as a planar die, 10 double-sided tokens, a quote-unquote deck box, cardboard life wheel, and collector booster sample pack. Price? Well, as we know, Wizards of the Coast does not have a stated MSRP, and with this product, more so than any other, well, most others, I feel it is damaging. Sadly, as of today, Amazon has all the decks in the $65 to $75 range. Only Paradox Power is below $60. Again, outrageous markups for what I believe strongly to be a $50 product. And this is also a lesson in why you never, ever shop at Amazon, because online marketplaces such as TCG Player have half of these decks at that $50 pricing. This is consistent with other sellers, and it reaffirms my belief that these decks are supposed to be $50 each, in that we only saw 2 of them increase in price close to release, rather than seeing an initial high price that decreased. In other words, these are markups, not markdowns. Card Kingdom, sponsor of this channel, is actually selling 3 of the 4 decks in that range, with Masters of Evil marked up to $54.99. While I'd certainly prefer it $5 cheaper at $49.99, it sure beats Amazon and TCG Player's ask of well over $70. Though that is, sadly, where they have the timey-wimey deck at. My stance has always been that it is never worth it to pay markups such as these, no matter how worth it a product might be. After all, there is a plethora of older Commander decks available for far less than $50. As always, I have a collection of low-priced Commander decks as well as my favorite products and accessories available via my affiliate link at www.cardkingdom.com/TCC. Always check with your local game store first, but if you don't have a local game store or your local game store doesn't have what you are looking for, it cannot hurt to look here. Considering that I can find half these decks for less than $50, and even Card Kingdom has Masters of Evil at $54, I am going to work with that intended price of $50 each for the purposes of this video. As always, when we reach the financial analysis part of this video, please insert whatever price is available to you. But before we even get to financial analysis, there's a lot more in these decks than the average Commander Precon. Each deck has 10 original Planechase cards. This is an uncommon yet very welcome inclusion that we have really only seen once before, earlier this year with the March of the Machine Commander Precons. Here, the Planechase cards not only add new locations to a Planechase player's map of possible destinations, but do a great job creating the flavor of the Doctor traveling to new worlds by literally planeswalking. There's also the usual inclusion of a collector booster sample pack. Many times already, I have expressed my dislike for the marketing of these, as I think it is too easily confused as being a full collector booster pack. These do have random cards from the set in either foil or a new art treatment. There are no cards within a collector booster sample pack that do not appear within one of these 4 Commander decks, just as there are no cards within the Doctor Who collector booster packs that do not appear within these Commander decks. Now, if you've watched this channel for some time, you'll know that I don't like collector boosters, but what I do like is that in these collector boosters, there are no cards that cannot be found in the Commander decks. So if you buy all 4 of these Commander Precons, you have a complete set. Everything that is Doctor Who is contained within the Commander Precons, and the only reason to buy collector booster packs is to get the special arts and foil treatments. If you can afford it, if it brings you joy, then that's fine. But financially speaking, I'm not a fan of collector boosters. What I am a fan of is the fact that the complete every last card set of Doctor Who is available just by buying all 4 of these Precons. And thus you only need to get collector booster packs if that's the sort of thing you do, which I don't, except that one time. Each Commander Precon comes with 50 new card designs. While the number of new card designs has fluctuated over the years, typically a Commander Precon has approximately 10 new card designs per deck. Here we have 50, which is a whopping 5 times the average. The immediate comparison to be made is to the Warhammer Commander decks from last year, but even then the Warhammer deck only had 42 new card designs per box. At 50 new card designs per box, these Doctor Who Commander decks bring more new Commander cards to the game than any prior Commander Precon in all of Magic the Gathering's history. And thanks to the partner mechanics of Doctor and Companion, never have we had this many possible combinations of Commanders before. The closest would be the beloved partner Commanders introduced in Commander 2016. This myriad of Commander options and combinations is actually very relevant to how the decks play, as I'll discuss in a moment, as having so many mechanically distinct legendary cards does have an effect on deck cohesion. But gameplay is another matter we will cover in a moment. First, let's follow the title of this video. Are these decks worth it to buy? Let's look at financial analysis. For this financial breakdown, I want to do something extra. I feel that as a Universes Beyond Commander product, we should consider how the now 2 previous Universes Beyond Commander precons were, financially speaking. So let's keep the numbers for both Warhammer 40k and Tales of Middle-earth on the screen, as well as the numbers for March of the Machine Commander precons, as they were the only other Commander precon to come with Plane Chase cards. If you were to purchase all the singles for the Doctor Who Commander decks at their lowest possible price, as of the filming of this video, 2 days prior to release, for Blast from the Past you would pay $293.53. For Masters of Evil, $291.47. Timey-wimey would run you $272.57. And Paradox Power would cost $244.73. This may seem like an extraordinarily high value for what I am insisting is a $50 product, but keep in mind that each of these decks has 50 brand new card designs, and these are pre-order prices, which you should probably never ever pay. When we compare this pricing to the Warhammer decks, which each had 42 brand new card designs each, we see the values were very high, but not quite as high as these, with $160 being the cheapest of the 4 decks, and $208 being the most expensive. Keep in mind too that Warhammer was released with ultra premium foil versions, and this pricing is just for the basic non-foil treatments. The Lord of the Rings Commander decks had much similar pricing, running between $220 and $250, give or take a few dollars. The regular March of the Machine Commander deck release had most decks in the $70 range, with one at $90 and change, and its most valuable at $111. Pretty impressive, but what if we were to eliminate all the bunk? Commander precons often come with a lot of bulk cards, which at 100 cards per deck can inflate the price. So let's add up the total, only counting cards worth $2 and up, and see where that leaves us. Doing so means that Blast from the Past still has 57 cards, impressive, worth $2 and up, and a really neat combination of new card designs like Alistair the Brigadier and Displaced Dinosaurs, tied for the top value with great reprints like Horizon Canopy and Heroic Intervention. While I firmly believe that the majority of these cards will drop into bulk pricing as soon as decks hit shelves, it nonetheless remains an indication of very high value in these decks overall, not to mention a great selection of reprints. Masters of Evil would have 52 cards worth $2 and up, though here the top cards are all new card designs, until you reach Stormcarved Coast at $8 and change, and the incredibly welcome reprint of Snuff Out at just under $8 each. Pauper players rejoice. Thank heavens Gavin is a fan of the format. Paradox Power would have 50 cards worth $2 and up and be valued at about $212.98. New card designs top this list as well, but I'd be remiss not to mention reprints of cards like Carpet of Flowers and Fiery Islet. Very welcome indeed. Finally, Timey-wimey would still have 47 cards worth $2 and up, and one of the top 2 is a reprint of Sun-Baked Canyon, whose price thankfully started to drop the moment it was revealed to be within the deck, but is still retaining a value of $13 and change. Everybody Lives is overwhelmingly the most expensive card in this deck, as every single Commander troll cannot wait to pair it with Isochron Scepter and torture their friends for all eternity, with, joy. Now, when I do the financial breakdown, I often hear people in the comments say, what? $200 or more in a $50 or $70 product? How is that possible? And the answer is, it's not. Once these decks are released, the prices of these cards will go down dramatically. Some may retain their value. A few may even go up. But the trend is for the price of the precon and the price of the singles within to eventually meet. So keep in mind that weeks or even days after this product hits shelves, these prices will be dramatically different. The reprints here are absolutely staggering. These decks are full of needed reprints, with cards like Wedding Ring, Carpet of Flowers, Snuff Out. They reprinted Snuff Out, my heavens. Heroic Intervention in a precon. Are you joking? Am I in a coma? What's next, Dockside Extortionist? Wait, is that in here? No, it's not. But you know what? Given the high-end reprints here, it wouldn't surprise me. And these Doctor Who mana bases are some of the best in, well, ever? They reprinted the Modern Horizons land cycle, the Battle Bond lands, the Czech lands, Shadow lands, the original Zendikar creature lands. The fact that cards like Creeping Tar Pit and Celestial Colonnade are in Commander precons, as well as cards like Horizon Canopy, my goodness. Fiery Islet and Waterlogged Grove? This is nothing short of a miracle. Not to mention that they have the complete Ally Talisman cycle. Hey, Talisman of Progress! Reprinted at long freaking last. And in a Commander precon. Even if you are not into Doctor Who and do not like the art on these, at least having such needed card reprints in a precon will work wonders towards lowering the overall cost when you buy singles. Possibly at www.cardkingdom.com/TCC, sponsor of this channel. Buy singles. But of course, Magic is a game, not an investment portfolio. Let's talk about gameplay itself. At 184 brand new card designs and 124 reprints, Doctor Who is not so much Commander precon decks as it is a complete Magic the Gathering set. This is the most critical point to understanding how well these decks play, both by themselves and against one another. These card designs are nothing if not distinct. Each character and each moment taken from this television series has been masterfully designed with the mechanics of Magic the Gathering. I feel strongly this is not a case of just taking average Magic the Gathering cards and sticking a Doctor Who screenshot on them. Rather, great care was taken to ensure each card really captures the feel of individual characters, individual episodes, individual moments and memories, and also that great care was taken into designing new things to do in Commander, new space to open up and explore. But that does have an effect on the individual decks, as I felt that playing them out of the box and against one another did not always provide a cohesive experience as a standalone deck. When you have a Commander deck that can have as many as 20 legendary creatures, each with very distinct mechanics, sure, it can all fall under a larger historic spell umbrella, but ultimately you have each legendary doing its own thing. A cool thing, but its own thing nonetheless. But to be honest, I think that makes these decks better than the average Commander precon. I'd rather have 20 different legendary cards to choose from, to combine with different partners for still more different and distinct effects, to have those 50 original designs rather than just 10 new designs that are all the same flavor of creating tokens, or counters matters, all appearing alongside the usual volley of precon level reprints. Here, the very thing I want to do with these decks is not play them as is, but take them apart and play with them as new decks or within existing ones. It may not be the most ideal starting place for brand new players, and it may not have the board game feel that an unaltered set of Commander precons is often shooting for, but for established Commander players, this is a boon of clever and new ways to play the format. Distinctly original designs, and yeah, all those needed reprints. In fact, excluding basic lands, there's 308 cards here. That means that Doctor Who is bringing as many, if not more cards, than the average standard Magic set. Throne of Eldraine was a 266 card set. March of the Machine, 281 cards. Phyrexia All Will Be One, 271. This is a Commander set that is simply being served to you in the form of 4 Commander precons. It's like they did make a Doctor Who set, but instead of putting it in a booster box, they put it in these 4 Commander decks. It's a set that won't be standard or modern legal, thank heavens. It's straight to Commander, as it were, but there's a lot more in common with a complete box set of Magic than ever before in a precon. And that is not to say that playing with these precons as is isn't a fun experience. If you'd like to get a taste of what that experience is like, there's a new episode of Game Nights where they do just that. Precon versus precon, no upgrades. Want to see what it's like when you take these decks apart and build original Commander deck designs using the Doctor Who cards and cards from throughout Magic's history? Well, we shuffled up and played with those decks here. In terms of flavor, as a rather passionate Whovian, I can say that this set will likely exceed even the most diehard fans' expectations. The fact that 60 years of Doctor Who is so perfectly captured and represented in these cards that the mechanics themselves embody the respective characters and their stories so well makes this a flavor win. There is no doubt in my mind that the team who worked on this particular Commander series care passionately about both Magic the Gathering and Doctor Who, and it shows. Final conclusion, Doctor Who Commander decks are a new set of nearly 200 original card designs first, and a series of 4 standalone Commander decks second. While the gameplay of the unaltered decks is fun enough, the real value of this set lies in the individual card designs. Cards which offer Commander players unique, distinct, and exciting new things to do in the format. The quality of reprints is excellent, as is the flavor and care for Doctor Who and its vast lore. So not only are these decks excellent, but they are excellent in a new way. And it doesn't hurt that the value within them is high, all of which combines to make this product extremely worth it. These decks are a home run, and grade is a solid, enthusiastic A. But do not pay markups. If you are interested in buying all 4, I've seen many deals out there in the $200 range. And again, I like to think of this as about $200 for a standalone Commander set, which gives you an astonishing range of new toys and tools and directions for you to go in Commander. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. You can help me out greatly just by remembering to watch another video. Whether it's my optimal guide to how to build any Commander mana base, or just me shuffling up and playing with Commander decks made using these Doctor Who cards, you can check those videos out by clicking here or checking out the links in this video's description. Thanks again to Henson's Razors, who offer a quality precision razor blade and a razor that'll last for decades, possibly the only one you buy for the rest of your life. Oh, but Professor, I hear you asking, how could I possibly afford such quality? Shouldn't I just go down to the grocery store and buy a pack of disposable razors for a couple of bucks? To which I say, ha! Of course you can. You can also buy penny sleeves that tear every time you use them to protect your cards. And when I say protect, I mean not really, because those sleeves are gonna rip and those cheap disposable razor blades are gonna rip your face up. No, Henson Razors is the way. Invest in quality, and I gotta tell you, Henson's is the razor blade that offers you meticulously engineered shave you've been dreaming of. And remember, if you follow my link in the video description and use code Tolarian, you'll get 100 free blades with the purchase of a razor. Thank you for sponsoring this video and my next shave.